Good morning. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and if you live in the South, anticipating a violent weather day. So I'm a little bit late getting started. This is also our spring break, as I've mentioned before. So our schedule has shifted just a little bit. We might be sleeping a little bit later. I intentionally slept late this morning. My plan is to be up throughout the night, praying prayers of protection over my family and friends and loved ones. I fully believe that God can just cocoon us in protection from the violent storms that are rapidly approaching. I believe they're already hitting Mississippi, where a big part of my family lives. So, what I'm going to talk about today really has nothing to do with the storms outside. It has more to do with the storms inside. I was scrolling Instagram this morning, as usual, waiting on God to give me the message. And I ran across a post where someone had posted a meme that says, if you wouldn't say it to your friend, then don't say it to yourself. That is so profound, and that is so important. We live in a day and age where depression and anxiety is taking over so many people. And of course, some of this is circumstantial and situational, but some of it we also bring on ourselves. If you think about it, would you go up to your best friend and say, you look terrible today? Would you go up to your best friend and say, your hair is always a mess? Would you go up to your best friend and say, Guy, your stomach's really poking out. You look fat. You look like you've gained weight. Would you go up to your friend and say, God, your clothes don't fit right. You look horrible. You're not in style. Your hair's frizzy. You know, all these horrible things that we say to ourselves, and we all do it, and we do it on a daily basis, so much so that it's become a habit. And what's the problem with habits? Sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. It suddenly becomes natural. A habit is something that you do so often that it just becomes a part of your day, of who you are. How do you change habits? You make a conscious effort to change it. So if you wouldn't walk up to your friend, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you walk up to your friend and tell them, whoa, you look fat today? Well, you wouldn't do it because you don't want them to feel bad about themselves. So if you take that same mentality and you turn it around and you look in a mirror and you say, why would you tell yourself you look fat today? Why would you tell yourself any of these horrible things? This is a lot of what brings on depression and anxiety. Instead, positive talk has the opposite effect. Now, the Bible tells us that we are made in God's image, man and woman. And He is proud of us. We're His children. We're made in His image. When you tell yourself that you look ugly, you might as well be looking up at God and saying you look ugly. If we're made in His image, it means we're just like Him. 1 John 4:4 says, greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. So He is in you. Our Father, our God in heaven, lives inside of us. And He's so much greater than anything else in this world. Anything in this world, any kind of peer pressure, any kind of societal pressure that tells you that you're supposed to look a certain way, be shaped a certain way, have a certain color skin, behave a certain way. Society does not dictate who you are and what you are. And it should also not dictate how you see yourself. In God's eyes, we are all beautiful and we are all wonderful and we are just part of His family. So why do you want to insult part of God's family? Every time you insult yourself, you're insulting part of God's family. So I did a little bit of research really fast. I didn't have a lot of time because this was a quick little study. And so it's come up with 3 things to change your self-talk, to improve your self-image. Because you know what? When you have a great self-image, when you feel confident inside, it shows on the outside. You get better jobs. You have better friends. You have better family situations. When you're miserable on the inside, you're miserable on the outside. So, I want everybody to be happy and bubbly. That's my goal. I wake up every morning with a smile on my face, ready to go. It does not mean that I don't get frustrated or aggravated like everybody else, because of course I do. But when you attack it with a happy, positive attitude, it changes. It changes your reaction to things. So, back to what I was saying. There are 3 things to help change the way you talk to yourself. Number 1, listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying to yourself. Notice what your inner voice is saying. Is your self-talk, your inner voice, positive or is it negative? So each day, make a note of the things that you're saying, because like I said, sometimes things are such a habit that you don't even know that you're doing it. But if you write it down where you can see it and when you can read it, then you realize what you're doing. Have you ever recorded yourself talking and then gone back and listened to it and went, is that what I sound like? Is that how I said that? Same thing with this. If you will take note of what you're saying to yourself, write it down so you can look at it and see what's really going on. Number 2, challenge. Challenge your self-talk. Ask yourself, is there any actual evidence for what I'm saying? Ask yourself, what would I say if a friend was in a similar situation? Ask yourself, can I do anything to change what I'm feeling bad about? And then number 3, change your self-talk. Make a list of the positive things about yourself. Instead of saying, I'll never be able to do this, try, is there anything I can do that will help me do this? And then my personal suggestion, stay strong in the Word. Let the joy of God come in and fill you. And when you see the joy of God reflecting off of you, you will see yourself in a whole different light. So let's be safe from the storms outside today, and let's be safe from the storms inside. And that's your thought for today.